Drop it.
Hello once again, welcome to our e-learning tutorial for today. And for today's video, we're going to discuss Grammar Lesson 10, Direct Quotations. Okay, today is April 19, 2020, and here are the following materials. If you are prepared, let's go to the schedule for week 5. So for today, we have grammar and spelling. So all throughout this week, we will be focusing on grammar and spelling only. And today, grammar lesson worksheet. And Monday, you will be doing Socrative assignment. On Wednesday, we're going to continue grammar lesson part 2 and spelling activities. And on the same day, you are required to finish the worksheet that is attached in Class Dojo. So if you're ready for the activity for today, let's do the discussion. So our topic for today again is direct quotations. So what are direct quotations? Presents the exact words of another writer or a speaker. So direct quotation presents the exact words of another writer or a speaker. So as you can see here, exact words. So what do we mean by this? So when you say exact words, these are words written by a writer, and it can be words spoken by a speaker. For example, you were reading a book and the book says, or it was written there, you can learn almost anything wherever you are. So this is written in a book, example only. So a writer wrote this. So this is an example of a direct quotation. These are exact words coming from the writer. So exact words coming from the writer. Another example. Can cougars see from long distances? This is, again, a speaker saying this. So remember, these are exact words coming from a speaker. So can cougars see from long distances? So this is what we call a direct quotation. So how do we know that this is a direct quotation? So first, there are two main parts of a direct quotation. So we have an open and a closed quotation marks. Another here in the second example, open and closed quotation marks. And finally, we need to put also the correct punctuation marks. Here we have the period. And here in the second sentence, we have the question mark. So we have, again, remember, to make a direct quotation, you need to have the following here. So this quotation marks, open and close. So they should be pair, not only one, but two, so they are pair. And finally, you need to put also the correct punctuation marks. So we have here the period and the question mark. So let's go to the rules and guidelines on how to write direct quotations. First word of direct quotation is capitalized. So I'll be giving you examples later on. Next, the sentence is enclosed with quotation marks. So again, we have the open quotation mark and the closed quotation mark. So you should have both of these. This one in the first part before the first word, and this one after the punctuation mark. So let's go to the third rule. The end punctuation mark, it can be a period, a question mark, or exclamation point, appears before the closed quotation mark. So there should be a period, a question mark, or exclamation first before the closing quotation mark, just like this. Okay, so let's have an example here. Look out for cougars as you drive through the park. This sentence right now is what we call a direct quotation. Now, what are the parts that we should know? First, let's go through the rules. First word of a direct quotation is capitalized. So let's check if it's capitalized. Okay, so it's capital L and the word is capitalized. So look is capitalized. That's correct right now. Let's go to the second rule. The second rule is the sentence is enclosed with quotation marks. So do we have the open and closed quotation marks? Let's see. All right, here we have the open quotation mark. So before the first word and after the punctuation mark. And finally, the third rule is that the end punctuation mark, a period, a question mark, or exclamation point, should appear before the closed quotation mark. So as you can see, it should come first before the closed quotation marks, as you can see here pointing to the arrow. So this example is a correct direct quotation. Why? Because it's following these three rules. Capitalization of the first word, open and closed here, and the end punctuation mark is before the closing quotation mark. So let's go to some other adding a tag. Follow all the rules in writing a direct quotation. So we have this rule, the CQP, capitalize the first word, put the quotation marks, the open and the closed, and check your punctuation marks. So the CQP, you need to memorize this so that it will be very easy to you to check and to write a direct quotation. In basing for the adding a tag, we are going to add one more rule, okay? So for adding a tag, add a comma. So this is a comma between other words. So these other words are what we call a tag. So I'm going to give you an example right now, okay? So the ranger said, "Look out for cougars as you drive to the park." Okay, so what did we add? Okay, what did we add here? The ranger said, okay? So this is the same sentence that we discussed a while ago, but we added a tag, the ranger said. So again, let's look if this is a correct direct quotation. So first, let's go with C, which is capitalized. Is the first word capitalized? Yes, okay. So the first word is capitalized, capital L. Let's see the quotation marks. So the quotation marks are encircled, correct? So that's an open quotation mark and a closed quotation mark. Next, punctuation marks, are they appearing before the closing quotation mark? Yes, it is. So we have a period, which is also a correct one because this is a statement. Next, adding the comma right now. So for adding a tag, add a comma between other words. So this is your quotation, direct quotation. So between this word, the ranger said, and this quotation, there should be a comma, okay? So as you can see here, the comma is here. It's correctly placed. So the comma should be found in between these words, the other words the ranger said, and this direct quotation, okay? So you have two parts right now. So this is the first part, the ranger said, which what we call the tag, okay? And we put a comma in between, and the second part will be this direct quotation, okay? So we need to put this comma. So to summarize this slide, we need to check the following: capitalize, there should be capital word, quotation mark, punctuation marks here, and finally adding the comma between other words. So here the tag first and then the direct quotation. Let's discuss some other examples. So here, the hunter asked, comma, quotation, open quotation mark, "Why are there no birds in the island today?" Question mark and close quotation mark. Now let's check if this is correct. First word is capitalized. Okay, correct, capitalized. Next, check if there is open and close quotation marks. That's correct also, as you can see here, open and close quotation marks. Next, P, which is punctuation marks. Is it a question? Yes, it's a question mark here. And finally, there should be a comma in between the tag or the other words and direct quotation. So there's a comma here. That's the other words, or what we call the tag. So you can see that the comma is correctly placed. So you need to check four things. First word capitalized, quotation marks, punctuation marks, and there should be a comma in between the tag or the other words and the direct quotation. Okay? Next example. Nathan exclaimed, "Oh, the wave is too powerful." Okay? So now let's check if this is a correct direct quotation. So first, again, capitalized. Is the word capitalized? That's correct. Next, open and close quotation marks. Let's check. Both of them are correctly placed. Next, the third one is punctuation mark. This is an exclaim. Remember, the word exclaimed automatically should have an exclamation point in the ending. Okay? So the punctuation mark in the end is an exclamation point. So that's an exclamation point. Remember that. And remember again, there should be in between the two groups of words, there should be a comma. Okay? So remember, this is the first part, Nathan exclaimed, which we call the tag, comma, and then this, "Oh, the wave is too powerful," is the second part, which we call the direct quotation. So this sentence is correct. Okay? Next example. Miyata said, "I will not run for president." Okay? Now, remember again, let's go to the rules. Capitalize, quotation marks, punctuation marks, and comma. Okay? So first, is the first word capitalized? Let's check. Yes, it is. I is capitalized. Next, do we have the open and closed quotation marks? Yes, we have. Okay, so open and closed quotation marks. Next, do we have correct punctuation marks? Period? Yes, correct. This is a statement. And the word here is said. Okay, so when when the word here is said or stated or answered or replied, the ending, the punctuation mark should be a full stop or a period. And finally, let's check if the comma is placed correctly. Yes, we have two parts again. It's separating this first, okay, Miyata said, which what we call a tag. Okay, so the comma is correctly placed. Everything is correctly placed. So this is a correct direct quotation. Let's go to some other examples. We're going to flip the sentences right now. So the direct quotation first and then the tag. So here, why are there no birds today? Question mark, comma, the hunter asked. So as you can see here, it's the same thing. However, we just switch their places. Now the things to check are the following. Y is capitalized. Here we have the open and close quotation marks. That's correct. We have the question mark here as the punctuation mark and also the comma, and that's the end of the sentence, which is what we call the tag. Okay, so as you can see, they are correctly placed. I will run for president, Miyata said. So again, let's check. Is the first word of the direct quotation capital? Yes, it is. Next, open and close quotation marks. Yes, we have it here. Next, punctuation marks and comma are correctly placed. So all of these are correct. Okay, so we're not going to focus on this switch or flip style of writing. We're going to focus on the tag first. Okay, so remember that is a tag. Now let's practice. Okay, so everything here from 1 to 5, there are errors. So I want you to pause this video and copy in your notebook or any blank piece of paper. Add quotation marks, commas, capitalization, and correct punctuation marks. So for number 1, my aunt asked me, what do you want as a gift on your birthday? So as you can see here, for number 1, there are no quotation marks, there are no punctuation marks, there are no commas. Check if there are capitalization also. So there are mistakes over here. Okay, so look for the mistakes here, and then after 5 minutes or 10 minutes, if you're done, unpause this video, okay, and you will see the correct answer. So please, I want you to be honest with this, because you need to practice doing this, because there's a lot of activities that I prepared for you in the worksheet for today. Okay, so look for the mistakes and put the correct quotation marks, commas, and capitalization. So if you are done, let's go to the correct answers. So here are the correct answers. So here, there's a comma here now. The first word is capitalized. There's an open and close quotation mark, and there's a period here, which is the punctuation mark. Again, capital, quotation marks, full stop or period to punctuation mark, and comma. That's correct. Let's see. Number 3, capitalized, quotation marks, punctuation marks here, and a comma. Comma here. All right, can you follow? Capitalized word, quotation mark, and punctuation marks, and the same with number 5. So here are the correct answers. I hope you had them correct. Now for your ideas, remember this. It's so easy to do this because you need to memorize only CQPC, which means you need to check if it's capitalized, if there are quotation marks, if there are punctuation marks, correct punctuation marks, and if there is a comma which is correctly placed. Okay, so that's it. Let's go to practice number 2. So in your activity for today, in your worksheet, I am asking you to write 5 sentences using direct quotation. So 1 to 5 is blank, so I want you to write your own. So how to make this easier? I'm going to discuss it right now. So practice number 2, example. So I'm going to use examples right now for you to answer. So number 1, she said. So you can start writing direct quotations by writing different styles. You can write she said, comma, he replied, comma, I answered, comma, the police asked, comma, and my brother exclaimed. So you can start doing this, or you can change she into a name, you can change he into a name. So it's easy to start the sentences with direct quotations. But remember, there should be a comma in between, because we call this 5 examples here as tags. Okay, now we can now put what did she say. So she said, I want to buy a new bag. So remember, quotation mark, punctuation marks, and capitalized. Okay, And here he replied again, we should buy food first. Open, close quotation marks, and period. I answered, open and close, capitalize, and period. The police asked. Now, because this is ask, it should be a question mark. Okay? Because it's a question. So, what are you doing here? Question mark, close quotation marks, and open quotation marks here. And finally, the word is exclaimed, so which means getting excited. So, this punctuation mark, exclamation point is correct. Open and close quotation marks. So, as you can see here, you can pause this video and copy this. Remember to put the commas, capitalize, open and close quotation marks, and the correct punctuation marks. So only those things, and everything will be easy for you. Alright? So if you're done writing, we can go to the practice number 2. It's again, you're going to write 5 sentences, just like I explained to you. It's easy. How to answer the attached worksheet. And you need to prepare for the Socrative task tomorrow. Okay? So let's go and open up the file. It's here. So this is your activity for today. So you're going to answer this one. So this is in your page 115. If you're done with this, I'm going to ask you to do the grammar practice number 1. So here you're going to add quotation marks, commas, capitalization, and correct punctuation marks, just like I explained in the video. And for question number 3, or grammar practice number 2, you're going to write 5 sentences with direct quotations, following the rules strictly. So that's it. It's only 3 pages. You can finish this in 20 or 30 minutes. So that's the activity for today. Hope that you understand all the details. Thank you for watching. This is Mr. Johnson. Goodbye.